Today we're going to be talking about crystals, and specifically crystals that are good for stress and anxiety. If that is something that interests you guys, make sure you guys keep watching. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new, welcome to the family. My name is Dina. I am so happy to have you guys here. Before I start this video, I just want to give the disclaimer that these should not be used as a replacement or alternative to therapy and other treatments that you may seek from a professional. These are just tools that you can use to accompany your other treatments. A lot of people find crystal energy just very relaxing and helpful, especially if you pair it with meditative practices and deep breathing practices. A lot of the information I'm going to share with you guys is going to be my personal experience, but also information that I have found in various books and resources. If you guys are wondering what books I use for information, these are my go-tos. One is The Crystal Code by Tamara Dreisen. The other one I have is The Crystal Fix by Juliet Thornbury. If you get this book though, you're not going to see it in this color. It's actually a light pink. I'll put a picture on the screen for you guys. I think this was a misprint. I got this for like $10 at Indigo, and I'm thinking it was on sale because they accidentally printed it in this mint green color, but it's beautiful and the book's literally the exact same. My friend has the actual one that's pink and it's the same book. It's just the cover they messed up. So the first crystal I want to talk about today is Labradorite. Labradorite has been one of my go-tos lately. Honestly, I've been working with it a lot, and it's a dark stone, but if you look at it from different angles, you'll see that you see these beautiful like bluish, green, yellowy colors. This is one version of Labradorite. There's also another version that has purples and oranges in it. I'm pretty sure though that I've seen this stone have those colors just from this one angle though when I was lying in bed with it one morning, but it's a beautiful stone. I personally have found it's helped a lot with my anxiety, especially when I'm just kind of like hyper and having a hard time relaxing. I've actually been keeping this in my hand, like under my pillow at nighttime when I get into those states, and just practicing some deep breathing, and it has been very effective for that specifically. Now Labradorite is also a very protective and transformational stone, so if you're experiencing anxiety and stress having to do with transformation, big change in your life, or you know you need to make big change in your life and you're really anxious and stressed about taking that first step, then Labradorite could be a good stone to work with while you work through those fears and anxieties. Labradorite can also help you work through toxic thought patterns, so if you fall into a pattern of, putting yourself down, doubting yourself, things like that, then this could be a good stone to work with while you do that deep inner work, while you do that shadow work or meditative practice or whatever you need to do. Labradorite gives you strength. It is very grounding. It also helps you expand spiritually. It's just a very spiritual stone. So if you need to connect to your higher self, connect to your spirituality, which can be very helpful for a lot of people for anxiety and stress, I personally have found that my spirituality helps me through that a lot. Labradorite is connected to all of the chakras, but specifically the ones it's extremely connected to would be the crown, the third eye, and the throat chakra, so the higher chakras. It's amazing for self-doubt and anxiety attached to this, because anxiety can come up when you are experiencing self-doubt, because if you doubt yourself in a certain situation, it can create that fear and anxiety of stepping into that situation because you're like, oh, I don't know if I could do it. So Labradorite is very effective for that. Labradorite also really works well with Moonstone. They are considered sister stones, and used together they can actually be extremely effective for facilitating emotional balance and healing. We'll actually be talking about Moonstone in this video as well, but I do have a couple of pairings that you can use in this video. If you feel like maybe this on its own isn't enough for you, then you can try and pair it with something else. Alright guys, the next crystal I'm going to talk about today is rose quartz. This is one of my favorite pieces of rose quartz. Rose quartz isn't extremely expensive, so I do have quite a few pieces myself. I have palm stones to carry with me when I go places. If I'm home and I'm meditating, I do really like to use this one a lot just because it's smooth and it's satisfying to hold in your hand. I don't know. Anyone else get very satisfied by holding large crystals? Rose quartz is really great for anxiety that is attached to self-worth issues, or like issues of self-love, self-compassion, self-doubt, really trying to believe in yourself. If you're like me, and sometimes you get into these rumination periods where you're overanalyzing something that you did or something that you said, and you're like, oh, why didn't I do that differently? So if you ever get into that, try rose quartz. I have found that meditating with rose quartz and doing that kind of practice with a rose quartz just very helpful. Rose quartz is good for this just because it's a very compassionate and gentle stone. So it's really good to help you feel a little bit more forgiving of yourself, because we tend to be forgiving of other people and kind to other people, but we are very, very hard on ourselves. And sometimes we give ourselves crazy standards that we just can't face, or we can't meet is the word I'm looking for. So rose quartz is really good to help you feel more compassionate to yourself. Rose quartz can also help you receive and feel worthy of receiving. A lot of us feel anxiety because we feel like we aren't worthy of something, or we're not good enough. enough for something, and rose quartz can help you get into the vibration of feeling worthy and feeling like you can receive good things into your life. Rose quartz can also help you find peace and trust that things are happening for your highest good. Sometimes we get in these states that we feel like the world's against us and everything's happening to us, but this can help you get back to that place of calm and believing again that things are going to work out, things are going to be okay. It's just a very calming crystal that way. So the next crystal we're going to talk about is amethyst. This piece right here is from Uruguay. Apparently a lot of their amethyst is extremely deep there, like just really deep colors. So that's why this one's really vibrant. It's got really nice color to it. But amethyst can come in all different types of shades. I also have a piece here that's more, it's like a lighter purpley gray color, which is pretty too. Like they're both unique in their own way. So amethyst is a very calming and meditative stone. Amethyst has been known to be good for anxiety and also any sort of sleep problems. So if you have sleep issues related to like anxiety, stress, and you're having a hard time falling asleep, then this could be a good stone for you to either keep under your pillow if you have a smaller piece. You don't want to put this one under your pillow, but you can also put something like this on your bedside table right beside your head, and that could be very effective that way. Amethyst is really good if you have overactive thoughts. So if you're the kind of person that overthinks things, maybe have a lot of toxic thoughts that are replaying in your mind, then amethyst could be a good stone to try and meditate with and keep on you and remind you to like breathe and try to let things go. Try to not let things fester or ruminate for too long. It also works well combined with celestite, which we'll also talk about in this video. They are a really great stress reducing pair. So if you find that maybe amethyst isn't working for you alone, or celestite, then maybe try and pair them together and see how that works for you. Okay, so the next stone we're going to talk about is apophyllite. This piece is actually very new to my collection. It's very beautiful. So mine's kind of got that bluish gray color and then hints of like white and clear, but apophyllite actually comes in so many different colors. So I'll put some pictures on the screen for you so you can actually see the different shades it comes in. But yeah, it comes in pinks and greens and so many different colors. It's a really cool crystal. Apophyllite is the crystal, or one of the crystals, associated with Reiki. It has a powerful gift of helping you attune to the frequencies of love and light. So it's a very high vibrational crystal. It helps to release stress, tension, and anxiety stored in the body, which Reiki also does, like, you know, stress, anxiety, things that builds up in our body. It can cause ailments, it can cause pain. So Reiki, where it kind of helps to, you know, help things flow again, you know, get rid of blocks, make sure the energies are flowing through the chakras. This is a crystal that can also help with that. So you could pair it with Reiki. Maybe you're having a Reiki session done on you and you hold this crystal, or maybe you just meditate with this crystal and, you know, visualize the energy flowing through the chakras. That could be a very effective practice to try. This crystal also really helps to overcome limitations. So specifically the limitations that we put on ourselves, like we put a lot of limitations on ourselves in our mind and we think that we can't do certain things. This programming, sometimes it's hard to get rid of, it's hard to work through. So this is a crystal that you can use while you work through that. Maybe you're journaling, maybe you're doing some shadow work, maybe you're meditating, whatever it might be. This could be a good crystal for you to pair with, you know, working through limitations. It carries both a very peaceful and empowering energy. So it's really good to help your mind release things and also, you know, connect to your higher self and your most authentic self too, and really get to what's most important to you in your life and what do you want to chase after, what do you want to work towards. So this is a really good crystal to kind of get you back into that beautiful, joyful alignment in your life. So next crystal we're going to talk about is blue lace agate. I only have a couple little pieces of it. This is actually my largest piece. It's a little bit more expensive, so I haven't gotten a giant piece. This piece I think was like $8, but it's a beautiful stone. So blue lace agate is a very calming and compassionate stone. It is seen as like an angelic stone, so it's really good to help you connect to spirit guides, angels, the universe, higher self, God, source, whatever you believe in. It is seen as a crystal to help you meditate and ask for help, ask for guidance, maybe ask for support. So obviously this can be very reassuring. This could be very helpful if you are in a place of high stress and anxiety. It can make you feel a little bit more at peace and have a little bit more trust. So it's very gentle and reassuring while also being a very empowering stone for your throat chakra. So if you're somebody who has a hard time speaking up or speaking your feelings, or maybe talking to somebody about what you're going through, whether it is a loved one or a friend or maybe your therapist, this is a stone that's really good for helping you open up your throat chakra and speak your truth. So it could be very effective for that. Sometimes a lot of people have anxiety and stress because they let things build up and fester for a long time. So this is a really good stone that could help with that. This stone's also really good for soothing the nerves for public speaking, social anxiety. So if you're someone who deals with social anxiety, maybe you want to put this in your pocket when you're going to some sort of social get together, or maybe if you have to speak in front of a group of people and you're really anxious, then this could be a really good stone to keep in your pocket for that as well. Alright, so the next crystal we're going to talk about is very common, very easy to get, and quite inexpensive, and it is clear quartz. I'm trying to get my biggest stone so I can really give you guys a good look at it in the camera, but yeah, this is one of my favorite pieces. It's actually half of a geode, the other half is on my shelf right now, and it fits together. It's really cool. I got it at a rock show. Clear quartz is seen as a very universal stone. So the cool thing with clear quartz is you kind of can just program it, put your intention into it, and use it for anything that you want. So you can definitely use it for anxiety and stress. It is seen as a very high vibrational crystal that emits a lot of love and light from it. So if you have anxiety or feelings related to feeling small, incompetent, not enough, not worthy, it's very empowering. It can help you expand, be your true self, your most authentic self. Because it emanates such high vibrational energy, it's also a very cleansing crystal, so it's really good for keeping away negative energy and lift your own vibration and emit more positive energy, be a more positive person. It helps to prevent staying in a really negative place and raise your vibration again and come back to your positive mindset. Okay, so the next crystal we're going to talk about is Celestite. This is one of my favorites, and I say that, but I love all my crystals. But I do love myself some Celestite, so I have a couple pieces here. This is what like a more deeper, rich colored Celestite looks like. Very beautiful. These ones were actually gifts, so very grateful for these gifts. They're absolutely gorgeous. But we also have, you know, lighter Celestite. So this one I got at a rock show. I think this one was only like $6. So depending on how dark the crystal is going to really, you know, determine the price of the crystal. So obviously this is less expensive than these ones. But yeah, it's a very beautiful stone to work with. I find it's one of the most calming and peaceful stones. It just has a very calming energy to it. So if you are in a very hyper state, then this is a very good crystal that you can try and utilize to work through that, do some deep breathing, you know, pair it with some breath work can be very helpful. It's a very good stone to pair with that. Just like the blue lace agate, Celestite is also really good for connecting to the angelic realms, so spirit guides, your higher self, source, God, whatever, again, whatever you believe. But it's a really good stone for seeking some guidance, seeking some support from outside yourself if you're feeling alone. It's also a stone of clarity, honesty, peace, hope, and forgiveness. So if you're very clouded, sometimes when we're really stressed or feeling anxiety, we're not thinking very straight. So this is a really good stone to help bring some clarity again, so you can think through things with a clear mind, come to a real solution instead of panicking and overthinking things. Maybe try holding a Celestite, doing some deep breathing, and start, you know, brainstorming some ideas of how you can fix the problem or situation that you're in. Just like rose quartz, Celestite is also really good for helping you to be more forgiving and compassionate to yourself. Celestite is also really good for helping you to step out of your ego. Sometimes our ego takes over and it gets really, really strong, and we have a hard time, again, seeing things clearly or, you know, looking at what's really important in life. So Celestite can help you connect to your higher self and get out of your ego mind. All right, so the next crystal we're going to talk about is selenite. I like to keep a lot of selenite in my room because it's extremely cleansing. It's good for cleansing your crystals, the energy of the space, and if you're really lazy at cleansing your crystals like I am, then selenite is your best friend. So selenite comes in so many different shapes and sizes. You can get it in towers, you can get it in bowls or little like selenite plates, wands. I like the wands. They're really good, like cleanse. You can kind of cleanse through your chakras and, you know, move energy like that. So that's a really good practice, a good meditative practice that you might find effective. You can get selenite in spears too. You can get them in palm stones. I love this palm stone. It's very like relaxing and just like smooth and nice to hold. So sometimes I'll meditate with this stone as well, or if I'm feeling like negative energies kind of attached to me, or I've been in a negative place around negative people. So like I said, selenite is very cleansing, it's healing, it's a very peaceful crystal as well. This is a crystal that's really good for helping you balance your emotions. So if they've been all over the place, then selenite could be your best friend. It's really good for an overactive, anxious mind, so coming back to that calm and being able to think clearly again and not, you know, having your thoughts control you. Selenite can also be used to connect to your spirit guides if you are in need of extra help, so it is also a very angelic stone in that way. You can also use it to work through the energies of feeling stuck, to get that energy moving again, to get the inspiration moving again, to start, you know, working towards, moving towards your goals and your dreams when you're feeling like you can't really get anywhere. So basically selenite works to absorb the negative energies, but then emanate the energies of light and peace and just positive, high vibrational energy. I love selenite. It's also also very inexpensive, easy crystal to get a hold of, but it does so many things for you. So the next crystal we're going to talk about is Smoky Quartz. So Smoky Quartz is a very grounding and protective crystal. It's very self-empowering. It helps with self-acceptance. This is kind of my crystal though that I go to for less anxiety that has to do with me, but more so anxiety that has to do with other people. So for example, like if you're in a conflict with another person, or if you're around a person who tends to be very negative and maybe they vent their problems to you a lot and you're feeling like it's starting to affect you and you know the energy is starting to rub off on you, then I find this is a really helpful stone to get out of that and protect your energy, because sometimes that can bring on, you know, feelings of anxiety and stress. Because it's such a grounding stone, it can kind of help you get out of your head a little bit and see your problems in a new light. So instead of seeing them as problems, seeing them as opportunities for growth and change in your life. Smoky Quartz can help detoxify the mind and the body from negative energies, negative thoughts, basically anything that might be attached to you, whether it is yours or somebody else's. Because it is such a grounding stone, Smoky Quartz is also really good at bringing you back to the now, bringing you back to the present instead of living in the future or the past, which anxiety tends to make us do. We like worry about what we said, or we ruminate over something that happened, or we worry about what's going to happen. So it helps you bring yourself back to the present, to the now, and work through things one step at a time instead of worrying so much about what's going to happen next. And finally, we're going to talk about Moonstone. So Moonstone comes in various colors as well. I have a couple different colors here to show you. Here's a little, like a light colored one. I have a darker colored one about this size, but it's actually currently in my dream bag. So I'm not going to take it out because I need my dream bag. It keeps the nightmares away, but I will show pictures on the screen in a second so you guys can see what it looks like. This palm stone is rainbow moonstone. So it's mostly white and black, but if you look at it from different angles, it's sometimes hard to catch on camera. Maybe you guys, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but if you look at it from different angles, kind of like the Labradorite, but a little bit more subtle, you can see little rainbows in the stone. I'm sure I'll be able to find pictures of rainbow moonstone on the internet that show the rainbows a little bit better. So Moonstone, it is extremely connected to cycles, specifically the female cycle. But with that being said, it doesn't have to just be that. So if you're not a woman with a menstrual cycle, then don't worry about that. That's okay. We all go through cycles anyways. It's very connected to the moon cycles too. And we're all kind of connected to the moon cycle in that way. We all have periods of inspiration, of action, you know, being motivated. And then we have periods of relaxing, having to go within, having to take a breather, take a rest, that kind of thing. We all have those cycles. So Moonstone's really good for helping you work through the cycles. This is a really good crystal to work with, you know, anxiety and stress triggered by PMS, or maybe you're just in a rough period of your cycle in general, whether that is your menstrual cycle or just a cycle in your life. That's okay too, because it's connected to the moon. It is connected to the shadow self. It's really helpful for working through tough emotions, tough things that come up. So if you're doing any sort of shadow work, keeping a moonstone nearby to meditate with, to hold in your hand while you're writing, while you're journaling, is very helpful. It basically helps you return to a place of inspired living and flow again when you're stuck in these toxic thoughts and feelings. So if you're having a rough time, it can help you move through those cycles. Moonstone also, because it's connected to, you know, the darker side of us, the deeper work, the shadow self, it helps you dig deeper and realize, what do I need help with? What do I need support with? Sometimes we don't really know what we need. Basically, it helps you get to a healthier mental and energetic space. So I love Moonstone. Moonstone is my best friend around my time of month, or just anytime I feel like my emotions are kind of just like up and down and stuff. So yeah, I love Moonstone for that purpose. I hope you guys found this video helpful. I hope it inspired you to maybe work with crystals a little bit more if you haven't been, because they can be really helpful and effective and just relaxing and also just fun to work with. I'll be honest, recently I have been working with crystals a lot more than I usually do. It's not that I didn't like working with them before. It was kind of just like, oh, they're pretty and they're kind of on my shelf, and sometimes I'd carry them around with me, sometimes I'd incorporate them in meditations, but I have actually been actively using them way more than I have been like for the last few years, and I've been really enjoying it. Honestly, I have been finding that I kind of just needed them lately. I've been more drawn to working with them because I've needed them, and yeah, I'm just kind of curious to see what crystals you guys work with. Do you work with any of these for stress and anxiety? Are there other ones on your list? Obviously, I can't list all of them. There's so many crystals out there and this video would be way too long, but let me know in the comments below, like, what crystals do you work with for stress and anxiety? Which ones do you find the most effective for you? I would love to get a conversation going. And also, if you want to see more crystal videos, let me know by giving the video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe because I put up new videos every single week and I wouldn't want you guys to miss out on them. I hope you guys have a beautiful day or night whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.